This is the Stories from the Field podcast, a Delaware Farm Bureau production, sharing real stories from local farmers while educating the public on the agriculture industry. Thank you so much again for joining us on the Stories from the Field podcast. My name is Macy Carter, and I am co-chair of the Delaware Farm Bureau Promotion and Education Committee. We have with us a special guest and a recent new member of the Delaware Farm Bureau with us today. Ashley Holmes is the owner and operator of Alley Mill Farm, located in Clayton, Delaware. She grows a wide variety of produce alongside her husband, Zach, and sells direct to consumers on her family's farm. Ashley studied agricultural communications at Oklahoma State University. She has experience in photography, videography, event planning, brand management, and content creation, all while having a passion for capturing the heart of the agriculture industry. Thank you for joining us, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's so great to be here on your farm.
Thanks. It's so nice to have you guys.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. And you're a recent new member of the Delaware Farm Bureau, and we're so happy to have you.
Thanks. We're so happy to be a part. We've always been involved with the Farm Bureau in some fashion. And so we're super excited to be official members now.
Great. Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your farm and how you got involved in it?
Yeah, so I grew up on this farm. My great-grandparents bought this land in 1942. They were tenant farmers and then decided they wanted to farm full-time. And so when this land became available, they purchased it. And in order to pay it off, they sold eggs and tomatoes. And so that kind of spirit, I think, is still what makes this place really special. And so I grew up here. I fell in love with agriculture. I loved the stories that I heard growing up, and that just really became a passion of mine.
That's great. So it's definitely in your blood.
Yeah.
And from your childhood and the memories that you have, you wanted to come back and be a part of it, I can tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So what made you want to start this endeavor with the produce stand and take this leap of faith by yourself in your journey?
Yeah, so I grew up with my grandparents, always having a big garden. They were always canning and outside, and I worked alongside them growing up. So that was a really sweet memory for me. Zach and I moved in with my grandma to help care for her, and she had dementia, and she always reminisced on those memories of the garden and being out there with my grandfather. And so that summer we decided that we were going to bring it back. And so we went out and we planted this garden, and we got to share all that produce with her, and it was really sweet. And we had extra, and so we set up a picnic table and we put our extras out by the road here and tried to sell it. And then that sparked the idea of, hey, like maybe we could really turn this into something more than just a hobby, like really make this a business. And that's really where the idea of growing produce and having a stand started.
That is a wonderful story. I feel like that's how a lot of roadside stands start.
Yeah.
My family also has a produce stand, and it started from, a roadside. They put a lockbox out, had extra produce, and it just expanded from there. So that's a great story. You mentioned about produce and some of the stuff that you offer. What do you love growing the most, or what's most popular with customers?
I think most popular with customers would probably be tomatoes. We go through tomatoes like crazy. We cannot keep them in stock. I think they're not my favorite. I don't really like tomatoes at all. I know Zach does. They're not my favorite. My personal fave would probably be cantaloupe. Yeah, I love growing cantaloupe. We grow muskmelon, which is an older variety. It's one that my dad grew up with, and he kept saying, grow muskmelon. I miss it. I want some. So we found some seed, started growing that, and we absolutely love it. We eat it all the time. Sometimes we will eat the two that come out of the garden that day and they don't make it out on the stand. So
yeah, very interesting. So in the summer months, can you kind of go through what you sell here at your produce stand, and then we can kind of touch on the fall too if we want, since that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. So we start our season with asparagus. So we grow asparagus. That usually never makes it on the stand because we have a wait list. So we have people who have standing orders. And so we're working on next year expanding our asparagus crop. That way we're able to have some out on the stand, and we can kind of move away from just having a wait list. But we also grow regular slicing tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, all types of peppers, bell peppers, hot peppers. We grow lettuce and zucchini and squash and onions, watermelon, cantaloupe. Yeah, green beans. I, I think that's it.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
long list. Yeah. Now, in the fall months where we are right now, do you have a lot of, I guess you're switching more towards like pumpkins and fall mums, but not so much produce?
Not this year. Not this year. So this is only our third year growing produce. So we are brand new. And I think everything that we've accomplished so far has far exceeded our expectations. So this year we don't have fall crops planted. Next year our plan is to have some fall crops planted. So what we did this year in order to draw people in during the fall season is we were able to buy local pumpkins from a local farmer in Townsend. So B&B Farms, we got our pumpkins from them. They're Farm Bureau members.
Awesome.
So we bought pumpkins.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. We got pumpkins from them. We're able to stock up. We got our mums local. So it's just a way for us, you know, even though we may not be producing, but to support our other local producers in the state that are nearby, and also help, you know, promote what they're doing.
I love that. Yeah, you're still, supporting local and having those wholesalers that you work with and putting them for sale here helps them out and it helps you.
Yeah.
So that's great. I love that. So I see that you chose to sell straight to customers, obviously, here at the produce stand. What made you want to go that route instead of maybe wholesaling?
So I think having people here and creating a space for people to come to our farm was really just our way of being more involved in the community. It's really important for us, you know, to love our neighbors well. You know, we love the Lord and we feel like having people here is just our way of getting to connect with them. My family has always had people here for all different reasons. My grandma was big in 4-H. She was a seamstress. She connected with all of our neighbors and would drop baked goods off. And, you know, there were kids, you know, from that local high school that would come and work here during the summers. And so there was always people here. It was always a place where people came and, you know, just got to be connected to agriculture in a new way. That was something that was really important to us. And so when we considered, do we do wholesale or do we sell direct to consumer, we wanted to keep that same spirit of being connected with our community. And we felt like this was the best way to do that.
I really love that story and resonate with that too. That's so powerful. And just having people come here on the farm and see your space and connect to agriculture, that's what agritourism is. And they can get a little bit of that here just by stopping at your stand if they've never, interacted with someone in agriculture before, or maybe never supported local, and just by meeting you or meeting your family, they know, hey, I'm making a difference by buying this. So that's really special. Yeah. Now, we've talked a little bit about it in your introduction, but you've really got a gift for communication. How do you use that in your farm business?
So I think I really appreciate you saying that. I do. I really love just the idea of like storytelling, like hearing other people's stories and allowing them to hear ours and seeing how we can connect. I think we all have so much more in common than we realize. And so, when I'm out here, I make it a point to be outside a lot. I want to meet my customers. It's an honor system stand, but I do a lot of the chores outside. Zach and I play games outside under the tree. Like, we really try to be like available and present. And that gives us the opportunity just to talk about our heart and like why we do what we do and get to connect with people. That's really important to us. We've gotten to meet so many amazing people who've rented the farmhouse here, who lived here. I've met people on some of the best days of their lives. They're picking up flowers for an anniversary or buying produce for a new mom. And I've also been with people on some of the harder days of their lives where they're grieving someone they lost and they used to have a garden, or they're buying flowers. And so, it's just being really present and just connecting with people. And like, communication plays a huge role in that, because we have to know how to ask good questions. We have to know how to listen well and have to articulate our own thoughts and feelings. And that's really what I think helps us build a great customer base who wants to come back, who wants to get to know us more, who come to events just to see us, and just the the ability to communicate clearly really helps build those positive relationships.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. It's all about that personal interaction and getting to see you face to face. That makes a difference, and they're going to remember that and come back, hopefully. And I love what you said about stories. Obviously, that's what we're aiming to do with this podcast, is just tell farmer stories, and hopefully your story and your message will resonate with people, and that they can hear it and be inspired and start their own produce stand or own business because of you. So thank you. Now, you touched on the face to face, obviously, here at the produce stand, but how do you use social media to help promote and market your business?
Yeah, so we used social media in the very beginning as just a way to show what we had available, to kind of promote some like different products if we had anything new coming out, And then this year I decided to take a leap and try out creating like video content. And so I created video content behind the scenes, content of me stocking the stand in the mornings. All of these little moments I sat back and thought to myself that I love so much. And like maybe somebody else who isn't on a farm or having a garden or, tending to any kind of crops, maybe they don't know what this is like. So I started creating video content like that. And it was a hit. It was great. It was awesome, for people to talk about how peaceful it was to watch me stock our stand in the morning. Something so small like that, people were so excited to see. And so it was just a new way to use social media. It was something brand new for me. I've never created entertaining content like that for myself. I've done it for other people. I've created educational content for other people, but never for myself. So being in front of the camera and filming and things like that was a new journey for sure, but it's been a lot of fun. We've gotten great positive feedback. We've met new people on social media that live right down the road that found us on TikTok. So like that's really cool for us, It's just another way to connect. Yeah, it's been fun. We've been learning. Yeah.
I bet it has been fun. You're definitely with the current trends today with TikTok and all the videos, and that's what our generation is looking at and watching. So no wonder it's been such a big hit.
Yeah, it's been good. So yes, definitely go for it. If you have ever thought about creating content, just do it. I feel silly every single time I film myself, and yeah, it still goes over okay. So
you're very new to having this business and testing out the produce stand. What is one thing that you've learned that you can give as a piece of advice for maybe a young entrepreneur that wants to start in agriculture?
I think the one piece of advice I would give is to not downplay what you're doing. We started out small. We are small. If you saw my garden right now, you'd be like, oh, that's it. But, just don't downplay what you're doing and dream big for it. I mean, I still deal with a lot of insecurity when I see other more established produce farms who are doing really big, awesome things. And, I start to get insecure about that. And I just have to remind myself that like what I'm doing is still good and successful and like valid. And it's okay. We all start somewhere. At least we started. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's something that I still remind myself of. So that's what I would say to encourage anybody. If you thought about starting something, just do it. Go for it. Right. And try it out. And, don't compare yourself to other people, because I think comparison really does steal joy from what you do. And so just don't compare. Just enjoy what you have and keep dreaming big.
I love that. Definitely stay positive. And yes, there are so many other, produce stands out there, but you're unique and you're different in your own operation. But, you can look to them for maybe that's your goal in the future, and just start small. That's definitely what you have to do in agriculture. So thank you for those words of wisdom.
Yeah.
We've talked a lot about where you started and how your business is going now. What are your plans for the future, and what do you see for maybe expanding?
Yes, so we are on the mission to grow. So right now we're an outside honor system stand, but our goal next year is to have a farm store open that I'll be working in. We have lots of barns on the property. The one that's off to our left is broken into 3 sections, and there's one section that we've cleaned out, got everything out of there. We're doing some renovations this winter, and so we'll have fridges and freezers in there. That'll allow us to sell meat, because we do raise hogs, and so we'll be able to sell our own pork. We're already working with someone local to supply our beef. So we'll have a storefront, and so we're really excited about that. It's definitely like the next big step, going from the stand. So yeah, that's where we see ourselves, and maybe, you know, the next year or so.
That's super exciting. See, that's something great about starting your own business is you can take it where you want it to go. And if that's the next step for you, that's great. And definitely having that storefront, that like permanent space will really probably expand your customer base.
Yeah, it'll expand our customer base, allow us to have other products that maybe can't sit outside in the elements. You know, it will be temperature controlled. It also allows us to be open all year long. You know, our stand will close about middle of November, you know, right around probably a little bit before Thanksgiving. And so we aren't going to be open throughout the winter, but having a storefront will allow us to be open in the winter. You know, people still use honey through the winter. People still want baked goods. Those are still things that we can supply, local meat. And so it'll just give us the ability to supply more to more people for longer.
Awesome. That's so exciting. And definitely we'll have to check out your social media when that is open.
Yes, we'll have a big announcement. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for all your advice that you've given for those that maybe are thinking of taking a leap and starting their own farm and, you know, have to start small. How do you think small farms like yours are changing the way that people think about their food?
So I think that we have a lot in common with our consumers. They really care about their food, where it comes from, how it's grown. They want it to be high quality. Those are all things that farmers care about. And like, you know, as farmers, as we grow produce, we want it to be high quality and healthy and nutritious. And so I think being able to come here and like for customers to get to meet Zach and I and get to talk to us, and, you know, we get to share information on like our cultivation practices and things like that, I think we kind of bridge that gap and really realize that we care about the same things. We're not on opposing sides. You know, agriculture and safe food are not opposites. And I think that's really awesome to get to have those conversations, you know, because we have so much information at our fingertips on social media and the internet, and that's great for so many things. But we've also found in our conversations, there's also a lot of misconceptions. And I think getting to meet a farmer one-on-one, you get to ask the hard questions maybe you don't want to ask all the time or don't have the opportunity to. So we just get to answer questions and realize that we're all on the same team of wanting to grow and consume food that is good for us, that is local, that is safe. And yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things that we've seen.
I like what you said there with, you know, we have that same common goal in mind, and that's growing good food, that's growing healthy food, and, you know, that's what consumers want. And you can definitely bridge that gap by just having that one-on-one conversation with them here at your stand. So it does make a difference for sure.
Yeah, and not every farmer can do that, right? If I was a commercial grain farmer, I don't have time to sit there and have conversations, right? And so, but I've been around commercial agriculture. I know what it's like. My dad's involved in it. And so it's something like, you know, maybe they can't do it, but I can do it for them. Like, that's, I think, why we all have a place and a role in agriculture, is because I'm able to do things they can't. You know, commercial farmers can do things I can't. And that's why we work as a team. That's why we all are important in the industry. So
I am totally with you there. Yes, I hope that, you know, through this podcast and through our role with the Farm Bureau, we can be that voice for those farmers that maybe don't have the time or opportunity to go out and speak to consumers one-on-one. We can share their story and be a voice for them.
Yeah,
so thank you. Thank you so much for letting us come on your farm, Ashley.
Thank you so much for coming. It's been such a pleasure.
Yes, and sharing your story and getting to hear about you starting your operation definitely can be an inspiration to those young entrepreneurs.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so sweet.
Thank you.